OMG. Selena didn't even have to say a word. Her silence alone broke the internet. Hours before she was set to drop her long-awaited collab album with fiancé Benny Blanco, something wild happened. A mysterious website, JB Vault, suddenly appeared online, claiming to leak 18 unreleased Justin Bieber tracks. And not just any tracks. These were rumored collabs with Ed Sheeran, Miley Cyrus, and other A-listers. The timing? Way too perfect. The leak went live literally the night before Selena's album release. And fans? They were spiraling. Comment. Sections exploded. Theories flew. People weren't just suspicious. They were convinced this was calculated. A petty power move. A last-minute attempt to steal the spotlight from the one woman whose name still makes headlines next to his. Social media lit up with reactions like, "They can't let her have anything. Y'all better stream Selena hard." The fandom went feral. This wasn't just about leaked music, and it felt personal. It felt targeted. And even though Justin didn't say a word, and neither did Selena, their silence only made it worse. Because what do you do when your ex's unreleased project magically surfaces the same night your new love story hits the airwaves? Fans started asking the unthinkable. Could this be a sign that Justin still isn't over her? Could this leak, real or fake, be a final cry for attention? Or worse, a calculated message? The wildest part? Internet sleuths started digging, and the whole JB Vault site began to fall apart. Fake VAT numbers, a sketchy phone line that led nowhere, an address linked to some random Calgary office space. The receipts weren't receding. And yet, even if the leak was fake, the damage had already been done. The narrative had taken over. The headlines were out. And the fans? They were living for the chaos, because whether it was real or not, the question burned. Why now? To understand just how wild this moment is, we need to rewind. Because if you're new here, welcome to the most parasocial roller coaster in pop culture, Selena Gomez and Justin Bieber. Their relationship wasn't just a love story. It was the blueprint for toxic, on-again, off-again obsession that defined an entire generation. They soft-launched in 2011, broke up in 2012, got back together in 2013, broke up again in 2014, and that was just the beginning. Every time they reappeared, fans lost it. Each Instagram post, each paparazzi shot, each cryptic lyric, it all added fuel to the fire. Even after their final split in 2018, the one that ended with Justin marrying Hailey Baldwin just months later, the fandom never moved on. And clearly, neither did the internet. Now fast forward to March 2025, Selena is dropping one of her most vulnerable, emotionally charged albums yet, I Said I Love You First. And right before it releases, Justin's mysterious leak happens. Whether it's real or a fan stunt, the internet doesn't care. Because what happens next is pure chaos. The leaked tracklist allegedly includes titles that fans swear sound like references to Selena. Meanwhile, her album isn't exactly holding back either. One of her most talked about tracks, You Said You Were Sorry, sent fans into an emotional chokehold. The lyrics? Brutal. Don't think about you happy without you more now than I ever was. I had a dream you said you were sorry. Sorry for everything you put on me. It didn't take long before Stan Twitter declared this was a Lyrical response to Justin's 2015 hit Sorry, a song that was widely believed to be his public apology to her back in the day. And that wasn't all. Another track, Younger and Hotter Than Me, had the internet convinced Selena was subtly shading Hailey Bieber. The line, "We're not getting any younger, but your girlfriend seemed to hit like a dart to the timeline." The connection? Hailey is 4 years younger than Selena, and fans haven't let that go since the wedding ring went on. Even though Selena has said repeatedly in interviews that her album is about her own journey, not her past relationships, the fans aren't buying it. They're reading between every line, pulling out every possible reference, convinced that Justin is still haunting her lyrics and maybe her heart. But here's where it gets even messier. Because Selena's not just dropping subtle shade, she's dropping entire emotional blueprints. One track in particular, How Does It Feel to Be Forgotten, has fans convinced it's about a very specific moment in 2024, when, according to insiders, Justin allegedly reached out to Selena trying to reconnect. Not romantically, just as friends, but the damage was already done. The lyrics tell the real story. Too little, too late, vibes, with haunting lines that explore what it feels like when someone who ghosted you suddenly wants back in. The stands were on fire. X posts blew up with theories, one even reading. Selena Gomez writing about Justin Bieber with her current fiancé is kind of crazy, but also iconic. That chaos, that's the energy this whole era is living in. And then there's Don't Wanna Cry, another emotional gut punch. Fans believe this one is a reflection on the emotional toll of watching someone you once loved spiral publicly. A veiled reference, they say, to Justin's health struggles and rumored substance issues. It's not mean, it's not bitter. It's sad, honest, the kind of sadness that comes from watching someone self-destruct and knowing you can't save them. I moved on, but I still care. That's the vibe. But again, Selena's not new to this. She's been using music as therapy since forever. Back in 2014, when she dropped The Heart Wants What It Wants, insiders revealed she showed the music video to Justin before the release, and he didn't take it well. He was allegedly jealous of the male lead, jealous of the story, just not ready to be seen like that. And honestly, that's been the pattern. Selena shares her truth through her music, while Justin stays silent, or lets the internet do the talking for him. Over the years, Selena's interviews have given us even more insight into her healing arc, and just how deep the damage from that relationship really went. In a 2020 NPR interview, she dropped a bombshell. She described her time with Justin as emotionally abusive. That single moment shifted the entire narrative. Suddenly, their chaotic back and forth wasn't just messy tabloid drama, it was trauma. Real, personal. And when Justin's team chose to stay silent, that silence spoke volumes. The internet never forgot. Neither did she. That's what makes the lyrics on this new album hit so hard. They're not petty clapbacks. They're the sound of a woman who finally sees everything clearly and refuses to minimize her story. Even Hailey Bieber, often painted as the other woman in this saga, has tried to shut down the noise. In her 2022 appearance on the Call Her Daddy podcast, she said it straight. "I was never with him when he was in a relationship with anybody. That's the end of it." Mature queen energy, right? And Selena backed it. She went live on TikTok. Shortly after, not to throw shade, but to call out the toxic fandom culture. She told her fans to stop the hate, to focus on kindness. Two women refusing to play into the internet's catfight fantasy. But even with that mutual respect, the fan-made narrative never died. Every lyric, every photo, every quiet move still gets analyzed like it's evidence in a trial that ended years ago. And now, in 2025, that narrative is flaring up all over again. With Selena fully engaged to Benny Blanco, her green flag king, and Justin deep into dad life with baby Jack, you'd think the story would finally rest. But no, every time a song drops, a rumor hits, or a tweet surfaces, it all comes rushing back. Not because they want it to, but because the internet won't let it go. The truth is, Selena and Justin haven't interacted publicly in years, not since their final chapter closed in 2018. And yet, they remain locked in the collective imagination of an entire generation. Why? Because this wasn't just a breakup, it was the breakup. The kind of story that felt personal, even if you weren't in it. Fans grew up with them. They projected onto them. And even now, in completely separate chapters of their lives, the echo of what they once were still shapes how every move is interpreted. Case in point, in April 2025, a fan account claimed Justin liked, then unliked, a photo of Selena and Benny Blanco. No screenshot, no confirmation, just pure speculation. But that was enough. Within hours, X was on fire with posts accusing Justin of being bitter, jealous, still obsessed. Real or not, it didn't matter, because the fans had already written the story. That's the thing about parasocial relationships. They don't need facts. They just need feelings. And when it comes to Jelena, the feelings are never neutral. For many, Selena represents survival, growth, getting out. For others, Justin is the flawed heartthrob they still want to root for. And for both, every lyric, every silence, every social media move becomes part of a story that lives rent-free in people's heads, even when the actual people in it have moved on. It's no longer about what really happened, it's about what people want to believe happened. And that's why every Selena lyric, no matter how much she insists otherwise, gets pulled into this never-ending cycle of speculation. Even when she says, "This album has nothing to do with what everyone may go to," fans still find meaning between the lines. They want closure, they want drama, they want the fairy tale, or the fallout. But Selena, she's not here for either. She's here to tell her story, on her terms. And if people choose to misread it, that's on them. Selena's journey post-Justin hasn't just been about music, it's been about reclaiming her voice in every way. After their breakup, she took a 4-year social media cleanse. No Instagram, no Twitter, just silence. Not because she was hiding, but because she was healing. In her 2023 interview with Fast Company, she opened up about how the online noise nearly broke her. The endless commentary, the constant fan wars, the media spinning every lyric into a hidden message. It wasn't just exhausting, and it was dangerous. And walking away from that noise became her act of survival. That's what makes her 2025 return so powerful, because she didn't come back with bitterness. She came back with clarity. And now, standing beside Benny Blanco, not just as a collaborator, but as her fiancé, she's showing the world what real peace looks like. Their relationship didn't explode onto the internet. It built slowly, quietly, away from the noise. And when they hard launched in December 2024 with that engagement post, the internet didn't just react, it celebrated. Fans who had watched Selena fall apart in front of cameras were finally watching her rise in private. That's why this album hits different. It's not just a collection of songs, it's a timeline of recovery. A documentation of the loneliness, the self-doubt, the years of shitty dates and half-hearted connections that led her to finally finding someone who sees her fully. Tracks like Don't Take It Personally don't feel like revenge anthems, they feel like final goodbyes, a way of closing chapters without burning them down. When she sings, "Please don't take it personally, we both know that he loves me," it's not just a dig, it's a declaration. A line drawn in the sand, a final note in a story that used to define her. And now, it's just background noise to the love she's living today. Still, even as Selena steps fully into her glow-up era, the internet won't stop pulling her back into the past. The second her album dropped, fans started dissecting it like a crime scene. Every lyric from Set Fire to My Purpose was immediately linked to Justin's Purpose era. Coincidence? Maybe. But that's not how the fandom sees it. When she sings, "I Let It Burn," people didn't just hear heartbreak, they heard closure. They heard a woman lighting a match under the chapter that almost consumed her. And in a world obsessed with fairy tale endings, Selena gave us something rarer, a clean break. It's not about dragging Justin. It's about releasing him, not with hatred, but with heat. And that distinction matters. Because even as the internet keeps stirring up drama, Selena keeps choosing peace. Her lyrics aren't desperate. They're deliberate. They're not cries for attention. They're the sound of someone who's done with the cycle. And if a few lines happen to sting, that's not her problem anymore. Of course, some songs hit harder than others. Feel Me, for example, though it was written years ago, is now being retroactively reread in light of the new album. Back then, it was dripping in longing and emotional chaos. Now, placed alongside her newer tracks, it sounds like a time capsule, a reminder of how far she's come. Where Feel Me begged to be remembered, You Said You Were Sorry demands to be respected. And that shift, that's everything, because at its core, this isn't a breakup album, it's a rebirth album. Selena's not just processing pain, she's documenting her power, and whether the world listens for drama or for healing, she's already said what she needed to say. So as the internet continues its obsession with decoding Selena's every lyric and Justin's every move, one thing is clear, the real story isn't about their past anymore. It's about how they've grown from it. Selena isn't the girl writing sad songs in her bedroom anymore. She's a woman who turned pain into a billion-dollar beauty empire, hit shows, chart-topping music, and, most importantly, inner peace. And Justin? He stepped into fatherhood, navigating his own battles, showing up for his family in a way that speaks to quiet growth rather than public performance. Still, the parasocial saga persists. Fans can't help but reframe new moments through old memories, imagining drama, projecting heartbreak, inventing connections. But as Selena once said in her My Mind and Me documentary, her breakup with Justin was the best thing that ever happened to her. That wasn't shade, that was survival. It was the moment she realized she didn't need to be part of someone else's story to feel whole. She was already complete, and maybe that's what makes this entire era so powerful. It's not just that Selena found love again, it's that she finally found herself. Without needing to be anyone's muse, redemption arc, or heartbreak anthem. Yes, the music still carries echoes of the past, but it also carries something louder: clarity, wholeness, evolution. So while the world may keep trying to replay the old love story, the truth is, the final scene already happened, and both stars have left the screen, building new lives in new worlds, far from the noise. That's the real story now, and honestly, it's the most beautiful plot twist of all.